Hello, my name is Molly Cooper, and in this vlog, I'll be exploring my progress of releasing unnecessary tensions within the body during my movement sessions through my work on dynamic alignment, character developments, animal studies, and contact improvisation, touching on why this is necessary for an actor in training, as well as my own physical awareness of my body, my physical limitations, and how I found ways around this. I want to begin this vlog by disclosing that in June 2022, I was diagnosed with BPPV, a type of neurological vertigo that affects my mobility when it comes to turning, tipping my head, or going from sitting to standing, and vice versa. When coming into these movement sessions, I knew that one of the first things I needed to establish were my body's physical limits and how I would be able to achieve the same effect as intended in the classes, but without triggering my vertigo. We were eased into the course by starting with looking at the 8 Laban efforts, coined by the movement theorist Rudolf Laban in works such as The Mastery of Movement, that categorizes human movement into direction, weight, speed, and flow. This exercise was to find movement patterns different to our own and explore character physicality, allowing us to put our own habitual movements to one side and allow us to internalize a physicality and allow emotion to carry us. This was in preparation for our work on Character Journey, where we chose a protagonist from a fictional novel and would work to show their emotional journey throughout the novel. My choice was to follow the journey of Bella Swan from Twilight, who I established had a different Laban effort to myself. Bella is predominantly a float, indirect, sustained and light, and myself a press, direct, sustained and heavy. Choosing a character with a different effort to myself would allow me to experiment with different characterizations and give me the challenge of stepping outside of my comfort zone and really put my own movement habits to one side. Alongside this, in our pure movement sessions, we rehearsed a series of actors' limbers and came up with our own in relation to certain circumstance to release any physical tensions we may have had before coming into the sessions, for instance, a minor injury or even just having slept funny. We started with a sun salutation, in which I found immediately that spinal rolls, where we tip our head over our body, would set off my vertigo and cause me trouble for the session, so I had to find a way to achieve the same result without doing this step. I learned a few different spinal stretches from some of my peers and my Tai Chi tutor that warmed up the spine without affecting my centre of gravity. The rest of the sun salutation was fine for me to do, for instance the child's pose into cobra roll, that showed that I naturally had a lot of tension in my legs and glutes as I would tense my thighs and lift my feet up, and I would often hold my breath on this move. I enjoy this stretch particularly. Being close to the ground, it was unlikely to set off my vertigo, and we later explored more floor work in our movement classes. We began with rolling from one end of the room to another, starting by laying on our back like a starfish, then rolling up into child's pose, and then gently melting back into the ground, allowing us to feel the balance between the weight of gravity pushing us into the floor and the floor holding us up. It allowed us to put that trust in the ground and let go of any presumption of falling or hurting ourselves. To slowly take that time and feel every part of my body on a big deep breath allowed me to put more trust into my own body, having found an exercise that did not trigger my vertigo, letting go of any mental tensions and restrictions that I preemptively set up for myself. I chose to make use of this exercise in my character journey, establishing my emotions that would allow me to feel the weight of gravity and pour myself into the ground, for instance, restlessness or an intrigue in nature. I found that in our pure movement sessions when working with a partner, I found it difficult to really let go of my body, having a subconscious refusal to give my weight to my partner, who would help me to release tensions otherwise, particularly in my shoulders, where I carry a lot of weight in my day-to-day life. We looked into the work of Joan Skinner, known for creating the Skinner releasing technique, described by M.A. Emsley as a somatic movement, dance, and creative practice with a core underlying principle of releasing blocked energy, held tension, and habitual patterns of body-mind. It enables us to move with greater freedom and ease while awakening creativity and spontaneity. The task at hand allowed us to utilize dynamic alignment through imagination, where our partner would release imaginary helium balloons on the top of our head that would carry us through the space, releasing our shoulders and creating a feeling of soft ankles and knees and a sponge-like quality to our feet. It took me a few attempts to feel the sensation rather than just imagine it, but once I got there, I felt these balloons carry me through the space, not preempting where I was going to travel to or how I experimented with different levels, like sitting or kneeling. This work carried through into our contact improv sessions that were almost always done with a partner. At first, I was a little tentative in allowing myself to roll and fall onto other people, which was very similar to my refusal to give my weight to my partner in my shoulders and arms. However, I swiftly found that comfort with my partner and found the fun in the activity, and I think that allowed me into a mindset where I wasn't thinking about what I looked like or expect where my body would go, but instead let the feelings and core-to-core connection with my partner move my body for me. I took this mindset into our animal studies module, as it's sometimes easy to act like the animal rather than truly inhibit it, by humanizing it as opposed to thinking like the animal and reacting accordingly. A piece of my feedback early on was that I was able to move away from being Molly and that I could let the animal take over, but that my main area of work was to improve my physical ability, as the module is very physically demanding. My upper body strength is very poor, and this restricts me in my work on quadrupeds like big cats and wild dogs, as I cannot transfer my weight into the shoulders and end up using my legs instead, which inherently arches my back and takes you out of the illusion of the animal. I was given the ongoing task of working with a partner on becoming a gecko to improve on my upper body strength, and then consistently working on the sun salutations as well as my own work with planking. This is something that I'm aware will take time to improve on, but the benefits will help me massively in the more physical side of performance and make me feel more confident that I'm achieving the animal task and I won't be thinking about it while I should be thinking like the animal instead. All in all, I'm very pleased with my progress in understanding my body, my physical limitations, but also being able to work around hurdles and find new approaches to things. I'm aware I have a long way to go with my physical strength, but if I continue with the actor's limbers in my own time, I will build up that strength. I'm also beginning to find my limitations due to my vertigo and set myself physical boundaries so I'm not working through pain and dizziness, and this is all making me feel much more comfortable in the sessions as a whole.